Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is your local problematic Leo, and today not on another Dress to Kill, I know, shocker, but instead a daily grind. We're going to be chatting about my Warframe state of play. Now, I do have to give you guys a little bit of a disclaimer, mainly because of the fact that this is going to be more of a chatty, rambly, maybe even slightly ranty video. So if you're into that, definitely stay tuned. If not, you can check out one of my other videos or, like touch grass, whatever the hell you want to do with your time. But as many of you guys know, the new Dante Unbound update came out, and it really did change a decent chunk of things for me, and I want to discuss that and my feelings and thoughts. I know, it's going to be one of those videos. Anyway, let's kick things off with where Warframe kind of stands for me. Now, one of the big reasons that I actually came back to Warframe is mainly because of the fact that I felt a little creatively starved in the things that I was doing, both at work and in like my real life, and I kind of came back for the customization and to do some Dress to Kill videos. I almost like stopped doing Dress to Kill videos for a while because I didn't love the way that Warframe was moving in the gaming space and some of the things that they were doing, and so I just kind of cut it off. But I cut it off for like everyone. I cut it off for you guys, I cut it off for me, and I felt like there was something missing in my life, and I was like, you know what did I really like doing? So I came back, I made some Dress to Kill videos, and that's where we are right now. I wasn't really playing too much Warframe when I first came back because I was like, it's the same old stale shit. I caught up on some like weekly night waves. I got, my Umbra Forma and my like cosmetics and all that, then I was like, yeah, I'm done. So Warframe for me kind of got relegated to what I call my de-stress games. Now, this is gonna sound both good and bad, so for those of you guys who don't know, I have a couple de-stress games, mainly Smite and League of Legends, and if I'm gonna be honest, I play them with only bots. So I used to play League of Legends with like co-op wise, so I would play them with like other, player people against bots. And then I discovered you can do training and I don't even have to deal with the people at all. Cause I really just want to like chill out, kill some shit. Like, I don't want my brain to be so heavily challenged. I know this is sounding bad for Warframe, but I think we kind of know what that means, right? It's just kind of like one of those low stakes, low challenge, brainless games that you can kind of like just look pretty and kill shit on, right? And that's what I ended up doing with Warframe. It was one of those ones where I'm like, I just want to let my mind dissolve into a puddle and just kill stuff and like de-stress, have like Netflix on in the background, probably watch more Netflix and was actually playing Warframe. But legitimately, Warframe's not hard. So for me, it was just like a nice little, oh, we're back to this, and it's, it's nice and easy. So for me, that's kind of one of those things that I did. It was one of those games that I didn't jump into every single day because I wasn't devoted. But, if there was something cool that I wanted to check out, I would go ahead and take a look at it. Or if I wanted to, finish a quest, I'm not even grinding out the weapons that I'm missing. I'm putting so little effort into it because it is just one of my de-stress games. And previous to this, I guess maybe it's like the feeling of the founders. We wanted Warframe to be our everything game. Now, I need to stress this because I think there's a lot of people who are like, the veterans and the founders, they're elitists. We just came from a different time and place. Like, legitimately, for us, we were here when there was no survival in Warframe. Like, literally, there was no survival mode in Warframe. It was only like a couple updates after I joined where I think they did like the mission testing for it. I forgot what they were even called, tactical missions, tactical operations, maybe that was it. But literally, they hadn't even released that, and then they tried it out and they were like, ooh, let's tweak this out, and then it became an endless mode, which was absolutely amazing. But you have to keep in mind, the founders were here before there were like corpus tile sets. I think there was like definitely no corpus language. Everybody was still speaking English. I don't think that there was a Grineer language. There might have been a Grineer language, but there definitely wasn't a corpus language. Like, that's how far back we went. So when we went ahead and started with Warframe, we really had this feeling of hope. You know what I mean? We really kind of like said, oh my god, Warframe can be anything and everything. And like back then we had bare bones customizations. You could not customize metallics on primes. It was absolutely nuts, right? We're like, okay. So that's where we were starting from. And slowly but slowly, Warframe started to build itself up, and we started seeing all of this potential. And we really was like, oh my god, we can have endgame, we can have raids, we can have this. You know, it was just like the sky was the limit with our hopes. And that's the big thing. And that's the big thing. Hope is a very, very powerful emotion, you know? It makes you think that anything can happen and that this could be amazing. And then slowly over time, we saw raids come and raids go. Raids stopped being like hotfix. They stopped being developed, and then they just disappeared, right? And then DE had this kind of like wave of like boss fights where they wanted to update the bosses. And to be honest with you, some of them are actually really cool. And then all of a sudden, like, I don't know, it just kind of fell apart. Not like in like, oh my god, tragic, it's so bad, but it's just like they stopped developing like a lot of the cool stuff that I think the founders really had like their hopes and dreams hung on. You know, we started saying there's no challenge, there's no real end game, there's no real progression. That's why I'm saying that Warframe became my de-stress game, because it's such low stakes, low effort, and just like low engagement. You know what I mean? There are several times, and this is also one of the reasons why I kind of stopped streaming Warframe, is I would like get sleepy playing Warframe. That's why I say it's like a de-stress game. I play it at the end of the night and I'm like, oh, this is so boring, I want to sleep now. It sounds terrible, but it actually, listen, my favorite drug is melatonin. I love me like a shot of like rum and some melatonin and a hot shower put me to bed. So when I say that these de-stress video games, they sound bad when I talk about them, they're actually fantastic because they let me sleep, which is very important. But yeah, I think we really wanted everything to be we really wanted Warframe to be our everything game. And once that kind of dissolved, I think that there was a lot of frustration. And I think that there was a lot of resentment because, you know, when you're a founder, you like, you dug your heels in and you said, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm staying. I'm with you till the end of the line, Bucky. You know what I mean? It was one of those things. And as soon as we started seeing that those were not going to happen for us, it was just bad. And I personally was like, yeah, Warframe isn't doing it for me. I'm finding challenge in a lot of other games. I'm finding better progression in a lot of other games. I'm finding better story in a lot of other games. And to be honest with you, I enjoyed, oh my god, I will say it forever, I need Anthem back. Please give me Anthem back. But now at the stage of life that I'm in, because I've actually, and I don't know, maybe I'll cover it. I don't think I'll ever cover it on this channel, but maybe we'll talk about it in like my lifestyle channel, and which I haven't updated in quite some time. But there's a reason for that. I've been doing a lot of side questing in my life. I've been doing a lot of like outside exploring. I've been doing some like local traveling, and you know, I've been out and about. I've been trying to do things with my time that let me engage with the world in a different way than I had been previously. So I don't necessarily have as much time to devote to an everything game. So where I needed an everything game, Warframe wasn't there. And as we kind of grew apart, Warframe turned into its own thing. And I have to admit, I mean, Warframe's still alive and kicking, right? I mean, I don't know how well it's doing financially, but it's still doing its thing, and it's kind of carved out its own little niche. Whether it's necessarily a niche that everybody is gonna like put up on a pedestal and saying like, oh my god, it's the greatest game ever, I don't think that's the case. But it has made its little home for itself, and it definitely has a community that really loves it and wants to be with it. And I'm finding that our paths are kind of reconverging. You know what I mean? It's like I don't need an everything game anymore because I'm busy doing other shit and busy experiencing other things and doing other things in my life. So I want a game that I can just jump into, kind of dick around a little bit, be my melatonin for the night, and go to bed, right? However, the Dante Unbound update came through, and it made things just a little spicy. All right, so the Archimedia and I think it's the Elite Archimedia. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't read the update notes as well as I should have. I had no clue what the fuck was going on. But literally, you jump into 3 missions back to back. And they are higher difficulty missions. I feel like I asked for this. I feel like I specifically said I wanted missions you could jump into straight out of the gate. You don't have to wait like an hour for a survival mission to get difficult. And I was like, oh, I'm like in this mission, and this mission is like mishing, right? And they have kind of better rewards. We'll talk about that in a second. And I was just like, oh, this is a nice little difficulty spike. I was like, okay. And then you get into that Archimedia thing where you have 3 back-to-back different quests, and in order to get good rewards for it, you have to like equip these weapons, equip these Warframes, you have to put these negative buffs on you, which we'll talk about in a second too, because it makes me crazy. But I was like, okay, let's give this a shot. And I was like, ooh, this is kind of fun. One of the things that I loved about Anthem is, as you guys know, they had like these tiered worlds, right? There's like Grandmaster 1, Grandmaster 2, there's like the regular world, like the basic bitch, the you're kind of okay, the you're getting there, but like you're not really that good yet, wait till you get to Grandmaster 2. And then Grandmaster 1 was where it got spicy, okay? Grandmaster 1 was fun because you could tell the people who thought that they were like big boss and then they couldn't actually play the game, and then you kept seeing them die and you're like, girl, what's your problem? And Grandmaster 1 was messy because you would see all of the people that were raging and they're like, I don't know what's wrong with this game, it's poorly balanced. And then you saw the people that were actually skilled with the game and they're like, what are you doing? Are you? And then so, you know, those players would kind of like slowly band together, and then they would flow it off, and then the bad players would be like over here mad. And then you'd get to Grandmaster 2, and Grandmaster 2, everyone had their shit together, because Grandmaster 1 was like hot garbage trash. They would expose the hot garbage trash, and then Grandmaster 2, you just got players who knew what the fuck they were doing, right? So we have the you have the Archimedia. I don't actually remember the names of this shit, you guys, I'm sorry. And then you have the Elite Archimedia. And then so I'm thinking that the Archimedia is gonna weed out the like hot garbage trash players, and then the Elite Archimedia is gonna be like where the really good players are. Now, I don't like this week's rotation. It is not my favorite rotation, I'm going to be honest with you. But the fact that I can have that opinion on the rotation and say, ooh, this is a rough one, you know what I mean? Gives me a little bit of hope and sparks a little bit of like, okay, we got girls, we got to get our shit together. Come on, Barbie. But you can tell that it makes me excited because it's like, okay, this is not something that you can just fall asleep to. You actually have to be awake, be present, be engaged. And a lot of these enemies, they'll do weird little things where it's like you got to target body parts, you know what I mean? There's specific weak spots that you need to hit. This enemy is way too tanky to take on unless you're hitting the weak spots. You know what I mean? It's not just a straight overpower. It's like you got to use your brain, which really engages me, and I love it. It makes it is like this is good. The thing that I don't think is as good is the number one thing that Warframe does that pisses me the fuck off. I'm sorry, I have to say it, but it makes me absolutely nuts. Is they think challenge is debuffing yourself, and I thought this the most when it came to, what was it called? Oh god, I've tried to tune it out from my brain, but it's so pretty. Duviri. Where they're like, randomizer, you guys, or randomizer. I'm like, no. Go find a short cliff to walk off of, alright? I was like, no randomizer. Take that back. Disgusting. I hated it. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I like the world. I like the decrees. I hated the randomization. Like, I've been playing this game for way too effing long. Let me play what the hell I want, okay? Anyway, I will not I will not let that dead horse die. I'm just gonna keep stomping on it. But yeah, so for me, this really was kind of like I guess it's a give and take. Warframe is gonna do what Warframe does. You know, Warframe's fallen into that niche, so I gotta accept this. But it's not as terrible. It's not insanely terrible. I can handle all that. The other things is the little changes that they're doing, like with the augment for Yareli. Yareli, to me, mechanically was a very strong Warframe, except for the fact that she had that shitty K-Drive. That, it hurt my soul. I love the mechanics of Yareli, and now just with a single augment, they were able to really shift things around for her. Same thing happens for Loki. I feel like he had two dead abilities, which is Switch Teleport and Decoy, right? Decoy was just not strong enough, and it was very situational. Like, you used it, but you didn't use it. A lot of the times, you just use Decoy to Switch Teleport into, right? You're like, there's no target. I'll just toss a Decoy down there and Switch Teleport to it. It's like, what's the point, right? But now with the damage decoy, it's actually really cool because it synergizes with things like Varuna's, what is it, the Lycan's Hunt, where, you know, if you have 5 status effects on an enemy and you kill them, it increases their duration, or it, you know, refreshes some of the duration. So that I actually have as a pairing on one of my loadouts for Loki, so that way I can just run around invisible, get a shit ton of headshots, spawn a bunch of orbs for my team, and keep up Lycan's Hunt for a goddamn insane period of time. And it makes me very, very happy. It's little things like that. So it's these little changes that really kind of like re-engage me. The mechanical changes that they did, the challenge changes, and I was like, maybe I won't just pop in to finish Nora Knight's stuff. Maybe I won't just come in to like customize a Warframe. Maybe I will actually try to take on the challenge mode, and I will feel challenged and I will feel reinvigorated. It's those kind of things that get me. I don't know what works for you guys, but that's definitely something that's driven me to play Warframe a little bit more. Don't get me wrong. It's still staying on my de-stress list of games. It's not going to be ever one of those ones that I think I can re-devote myself so heavily into. Like, there's still some tenant weapons I haven't picked up, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to do that. There's still some things that I need to finish leveling. Like, I haven't even leveled up the Dex Nikana, but I looked at it and it was like a Mastery Rank 8, and I was like, I don't know if I need that. Right now, Warframe has, I won't say an issue, but they've been going for 11 years and they've been producing weapons for like 11 years. And it's like, they either try to do something new and kooky and it's like too kooky, or they create something that like we have 15 other variations of that for, right? Even the tome just feels like a static core or a sonic core, and you put extra mods on it. And that's it. That's really all. Regardless, I feel like I've said everything that I needed to say. I'm looking at my list of things right here. Let me know what your Warframe state of play is. Let me know if you can relate to me, if Dante Unbound has rekindled some things in you, or what it is that you might want to see from Warframe to kind of snatch you back in, because I definitely have a list. I also have some other Warframe videos that are going to come out that are probably not going to be very nice. They're probably going to be a little sassy, and I don't know, like, the idea is in the brain, but I don't necessarily want to put it out on paper because I'm like, oh, maybe that's a little too sassy. But hopefully they'll be fun. I'm gonna do some videos that are not necessarily dress to kill. So let me know how you feel about everything, what your Warframe state of play is down in the comments below. And I think that about does it for my morning ramble. And as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I have a very strong feeling that there's like a good chunk of things that I missed, but I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.